top of the morning bay with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सब लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
Namaskar.
वनकम,
Namaskara.
खुशामदीद,
Assalamualaikum.
सत श्री अकाल,
మీ అందరికీ వందనము.
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय जनेन्द्र.
हमारे स्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते हैं याली मदद.
मोलाली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी मंदिरों को बोलेंगे नीसा बुला बनजन. हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारा. मैं से फालतू बाबा.
And of course, myself, Alturani, लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time that's gonna make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बन जानी.
True the Bandijan. And of course, आपको बता दें कि यार, I know, COVID shelter in place day number 130 हो गया है. And for the past 2 days, we've been getting some really disturbing reports on the COVID cases in California, around the California, of course, in the whole country as such, and also. Let's talk about something close to home. Counties in our own counties around here as well.
Right.
So we'll get information on the news segment, which is going to come up in a few minutes. But like you said, I do understand some of you might be probably on the roads right now. I would suggest that only step out if there's something essential for you guys to do. Many companies actually offering the option for people to work from home. But even if you're actually going to get into your workplaces to work, maintain physical distancing and try to maintain the hygiene condition which you asked for, that is washing your hands for 20 seconds, and of course making sure you wear a mask so you don't actually contract the virus, or for the matter contribute towards spreading the virus around to different places. But right now, let's see what's happening on the roads with the Raste Ka Haal. Ekdam total sustenance.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Yeah, Banjan, wherever you are, if you're actually experiencing traffic right now or some incident which you want to share with your fellow bandus, you can give us a call here so that you can actually earn those good karma points which we talked about every day, BC and also after BC. BC matlab not the one who's talking about the Hindi dialect, but you're talking about BC as in before Corona, which is actually pretty much, I think before Corona would be before February. Well, no, actually before March, because March is when we actually went into sheltering in place, actually, right, Faltrani?
Right.
16th of March we started off, but some companies actually were very proactive. They actually started off sheltering in place for their people pretty much in the early month of March itself.
Right.
Anyway, but the 130 days after March 16th is like a almost like, it's scary. We already have finished 1/3 of the year just in sheltering in place, off the half year which already is gone by. And you can imagine what's going to happen in the remaining part of the year. 2020 is really a bad situation for many people. I hope they feel better. And right now, Banjan, let's see. We'll go take a look at the headlines for you guys. And the headlines, of course, if you want to read detail about those things, you can go to our news blog, mediamahima.com. And let's see what is the headlines for today.
The U.S. coronavirus deaths topped 1,100 for a third day in a row. CDC has issued a new back-to-school guidelines, and some of it will really surprise you. California counties are stepping up enforcement as the virus surges, including jail time and misdemeanor enforcements. A San Jose salon has defied orders and continues to serve customers indoors. The wealthy Republicans who want to oust Donald Trump in this year's November's election. More on that coming up. Lawsuit filed over a Trump memo on the census and unauthorized immigrants. A video of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came out yesterday, Banjan. We'll talk a little bit about it, where she said that she will not allow the rebuke that the verbal abuse that she faced by Republican congressman to stand.
Well, I think I saw the video. It's going viral right now, and I think she has a point.
She does.
She does have a point there.
She does. And
more power to her for doing it, actually.
Exactly. Exactly. The Chinese who took refuge at the San Francisco consulate is now in U.S. custody, according to a U.S. official. Ahead of the U.S. election, China braces for a rocky ride and potential change. What is the change? We'll bring you that shortly. China has also ordered the closure of a U.S. consulate. It's more of a tit-for-tat approach in the Chengdu province. Federal agents fire tear gas at Portland protesters yet again. U.S. drug maker stocks have fallen ahead of Trump's pricing on his executive order that's asking for pricing to be maintained at a certain level. U.S. tech titans actually drag Wall Street lower as virus cases are beginning to mount.
And that was the headlines for you guys. But you can get the catch the news in detail in just a few minutes. And of course, you can also go read up the headlines on our news blog, mediamahima.com. But Abhijit, this is the Gaane Akida picked up for you guys. Let me tell you, it's a very nice song. Understand the meaning of the song, you'll know more about it. This is actually sung by Mukesh Ji, picturized on Rajesh Raj Kapoor Saab. And as you know, Mukesh Ji, his birth anniversary was on the 22nd of July, this week actually. So we actually have a special show for him planned in Bay Area, Buck, that's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Do not forget to tune in for sure. Lekin aaj ka Gaane Akida Avara Hu from the movie. Yeah, I think it's called Avara, right?
आवारा हूँ या गर्दिश में हूँ आसमान का तारा हूँ आवारा हूँ या गर्दिश में हूँ आसमान का तारा हूँ आवारा हूँ घर बार नहीं संसार नहीं मुझसे किसी को प्यार नहीं मुझसे किसी को प्यार नहीं उस पार किसी से मिलने का इकरार नहीं मुझसे किसी को प्यार नहीं मुझसे किसी को प्यार नहीं सुनसान नगर अनजान डगर का प्यारा हूँ आवारा हूँ या गर्दिश में हूँ आसमान का तारा हूँ आवारा हूँ आबाद नहीं बर्बाद सही गाता हूँ खुशी के गीत मगर गाता हूँ खुशी के गीत मगर जख्मों से भरा सीना है मेरा हंसती है मगर ये मस्त नजर दुनिया मैं तेरे तीर का या तकदीर का मारा हूँ गर्दिश में हूँ आसमान का तारा हूँ आवारा हूँ
What a beautiful song, picturized on Raj Kapoor Saab. 1951 की बात है, but almost like around 70-year-old song.
Yeah.
And very nicely done. And of course, this is a golden oldies version. ऐसे ही आपको अच्छे गाने मिलेंगे आज के ये शाम मस्तानी में Pam Pam show पे. Also, following the Pam Pam show around 6 o'clock, we have the Anmol Lagme, which comes to you guys, which features some wonderful music directors, lyricists, singers of our industry. That's why we call them as Anmol, Anmol Ratan. And unke Anmol Lagme. So the creators of this wonderful music are the people we're talking about on our Anmol Lagme, which comes Mahima ke Anmol Lagme, which comes 6 p.m. every Friday, Baranjan, after the Pam Pam show. But right now, Baja, it's time for us to go back and look at the news, which is in detail for you guys, Baja. And dekhte hain kya hai jo hame we got to be mindful of. Faldrani, let's start with this one thing. I've been hearing a lot about, the coronavirus situation. Are you going to share some updates on that for us?
Yes, I am. Before that, I just wanted to tell all our bandhus that, should we start with the guidelines that we got from this? No, we'll actually start with the coronavirus updates. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, we're waiting.
Yeah, I'm going to start that. So, Banajan, the US has now surpassed, as we mentioned yesterday, 4 million COVID-19 cases, and experts are pleading for another nationwide shutdown to keep things from getting worse. More than 150 prominent medical experts, scientists, teachers, nurses, and others have signed a letter urging politicians to take the unpalatable but potentially necessary step. As it stands, statisticians from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention say COVID-19 may end up being a top 10 leading cause of death for people in this nation for 2020. Despite the dire warnings, new CDC guidelines have come out with regard to opening schools, and they push for a, wait for this, in-person return. And if you're still looking for an ideal mask that you need to wear in public, one of the new study is indicating that there is a new mask which is more effective if there are about 2 or 3 layers of protection. But then again, it's not confirmed. There's several different studies that are going on. But let's tell you, Vanijan, that one big thing that's really bothering a lot of people right now is the CDC guidelines. We don't know if there is a lot of speculation with regard to this, but I'm going to share this with you nevertheless. They released new guidelines Thursday for reopening schools that emphasize on students coming back into the classroom by laying out the social, emotional, and mental risks of keeping students at home. Among the recommendations for resuming in-person instruction are social distancing, wearing masks, and keeping the same cohort of kids and teachers together throughout the day. Also, they say that schools should use other areas of their campuses for classrooms, like gyms and outdoor spaces. Although this reminds me of that, in certain schools like in India, right, like Kalakshetra and Shantiniketan, they have this tapovan kind of thing where they'll have big, large areas which trees and shaded trees kind of thing, where the students will sit outside and they'll sing or they'll learn something there. That kind of thing. I think that's what the CDC is asking schools to start doing right now. While the guidelines point out that schools should consider local COVID-19 transmission rates, the CDC argues that opening in the fall is best for students, something that the White House has been calling for. For Trump, it's all politics in trying to get everyone back into school, said Eastside Union High School District Superintendent Chris Funk. But Funk made the early decision to do distance learning because their zip code in the east of San Jose has some of the highest case numbers in the South Bay. But also, the guidelines point out that the transmission for children is low in countries that have reopened schools. So kids under 18 in the US make up 6% of the cases and only 0.1% of deaths. But Funk says it's not worth losing even one person. So there's a lot of pushback they're getting, but the CDC is saying weighing the physical, mental, emotional, and other well-being of children, they're saying children should be sent to school in the fall. Also, Banijan, in California, counties are stepping up enforcement as the virus surges. More California counties are trying to put some bite behind public health orders as hospitalizations and positive tests for the coronavirus continue rising in many parts of the state. In the San Francisco Bay Area, Marin and Napa County officials this week approved fines ranging from $25 to $500 for individuals violating public health orders, including failing to wear masks. The businesses will face fines of up to $10,000. Supervisors in adjoining Sonoma County were considering a similar move on Thursday. In Marin, the fines will be imposed based on risk to public health, previous warnings, lack of good faith efforts to comply, and increased revenue generated from non-compliance, the county said. In San Diego, the state's second most populous county, They will form a safe reopening compliance team designed to get local code enforcement departments working together to pursue public complaints of health mandate violations. So there's like a whole bunch of things that different counties across the state are doing. And there were also 157 deaths that were reported on Wednesday, the state's highest daily total. And Governor Gavin Newsom actually said that this was a very, very grim milestone for California. And while this is going on in Santa Clara County, right here in our backyard, Bundajan, public health orders haven't stopped some Bay Area businesses from operating illegally. Salon Blue is a hair salon in San Jose that hasn't shut its indoor or outdoor operations at all during the coronavirus pandemic. Apparently, James Griffiths, the Salon Blue owner, has said that he has no intention of changing anything and he's going to continue operating.
Okay.
It's a hair salon. And I'm not interested at all by any of these, or interested or intimidated at all by any of these enforcement measures, he said. And his customers say appearance is important in their job, and they have no qualms getting their. She has no qualms getting her hair done there indoors, despite public health orders that forbid it. So you can read up on that story. We'll share it on MediaMahima.com. Now let's go over to something really interesting that came out of Jan. Jimmy Tosh, who runs a multi-million-dollar hog and grain farm in Tennessee, is a lifelong Republican. He is pro-gun, supports lower taxes, and agrees with most of what Republican President Donald Trump's agenda is. But he's also spending his money to defeat Trump in November's election. He says, I agree with 80% of the things he does. I just can't stand a liar. Tosh, 70, said of Trump. Tosh is one of the growing number of wealthy conservative Americans who say Trump is a threat to democracy and the long-term health of the Republican Party. They're actively supporting his Democratic opponent in the November 3rd vote, former Vice President Joe Biden. Several billionaire and millionaire donors to the Lincoln Project. This is a project, okay, Altubaba, that they have formed to defeat Trump.
It's called Lincoln Project.
Yeah.
But Lincoln is Republican, right?
Yeah. The most prominent of Republican-backed groups opposing Trump's re-election told Reuters that elected Republicans should also be punished for enabling him. Some even support the ouster of vulnerable Republican senators to hand control of the chamber back to the Democrats now. Their money has fueled out unprecedented campaign from members of a sitting president's own party to oust him from office. This is a sign that Trump has alienated some Republicans, most recently with his response to the coronavirus pandemic and nationwide protests over police brutality against black Americans. So you can read that also on MediaMahima.com, also, Trump is being sued by, you remember how he issued that executive order where undocumented immigrants' information and census data should not be taken into consideration while redrawing district lines? Yeah. Groups led by Common Cause, a government watchdog group, have filed the first federal lawsuit against the Trump administration in response to President Trump's call to make an unprecedented change to population numbers used to divvy up seats in Congress among the states. Filed on Thursday with the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, the complaint was released 2 days after Trump issued a memo calling to completely exclude unauthorized immigrants from the constitutionally mandated count for every person living in the country that is used to redistribute seats in the House of Reps. So for those of you who don't know, let's say there are 100 people here, and for every 100 people, there'll be one elected representative, right? Out of these 100 people, if 80 of them are undocumented immigrants, so we will get possibly a representation of only 20 people officially. So wherever there are undocumented immigrants, so it's not a fair representation of the local population, right?
So otherwise, 100 is still the thing. So it wouldn't be that, that particular 20 will go to some of the group, right? So there are less number of people in the particular state.
Yeah, who are representing the interests of that particular state. So there is a lawsuit that has been filed against Trump and his administration right now. And speaking of a lot of backlash against Trump and the Republican Party, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez rebuked a Republican for a vulgar insult. He called her effing That's what he called her in front of reporters, Banachan. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is a Democrat from New York, took to the House floor Thursday morning to admonish the insults hurled at her by Representative Ted Yoho, a Republican from Florida, earlier this week. Yoho confronted Ocasio-Cortez on the steps of the Capitol on Monday and called her disgusting for linking poverty to crime rates in New York City. I was minding my own steps, walking up the steps, and Representative Yoho put his finger in my face and he called me disgusting. He called me crazy. He called me out of my mind, and he said, I am dangerous, she said. The congresswoman said she told Yoho that his comments were rude and walked away to cast her vote. Then, as the Hill first reported, Yoho was overheard using a really vulgar insult, which is often aimed at women and is a sign of verbal abuse. And Ocasio-Cortez, we shared that video. I shared it yesterday, actually, as soon as the video came out. It's a really hard-hitting video, Manoj, which talks about how taken for granted verbal abuse is, and abuse against women is, and how using the fact that, oh, I have a daughter and a wife is not an excuse for somebody to hide behind and say that.
No, but if you notice, culturally, it's such a common place for people to use profanities.
Yeah.
And profanities, that's why, I always request people to stay refrain from it, because profanities are the first step towards you calling people names.
Yeah.
And that's verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean that you have to disrespect them. And that's what she stood for. And she said one of the biggest things is that it is taken for granted that women will take this. And she said, she also called out the president, and she said, the man who's sitting, she doesn't even call him the president, she says, who's sitting atop all of this, said I should go back to where I came from.
Well, actually, she's right in what she did, and I really appreciate what she did. And it's not just the women, anybody in the minority has faced this.
Yeah.
People who are subjugated, they generally face this on a regular basis. So
Yeah.
that's something which you got to keep in mind, Barujan.
Yeah, and this Representative Ted Yoho said supposedly, Altababa, that I have daughters and blah blah blah. But he didn't apologize. It was like an excuse of an apology that he issued, and she said she pretty much said she rejects his apology. She said, somebody who's standing here and justifying that you have women in your family doesn't make it okay for you to call me names, because I also am a daughter of somebody, and I'm a daughter of parents, and it is my right to stand here today to stand up against your disrespect. And she, it's a very powerful speech. You can watch that. It's been shared on our page. I'll probably share it on Media Mahima Facebook page as well. But let's go on over. United States closed down the Houston consulate. Today was their day to close out completely. China has now ordered the United States to close its consulate in the city of Chengdu, responding to a U.S. demand for China to close its Houston consulate as relations between the two largest economies deteriorate. The order to close the consulate in Chengdu in southwestern China's Sichuan province continued Beijing's recent practice of like-for-like responses to the U.S. actions. So basically, tit for tat. China had warned that it would retaliate after it was given this only 72 hours this week until Friday to vacate its consulate in Texas City, and had urged the United States to reconsider. But clearly, relationship between Washington and Beijing have deteriorated sharply this year over issues ranging from trade and technology to the novel coronavirus, China's territorial claims in the South China Sea, and its clampdown on Hong Kong. So there's a bunch of stuff that is happening. Also, Chinese who took refuge. Remember that Chinese researcher who was hiding in the San Francisco consulate? Well, he is now in American custody and is expected to appear in court on Friday, a senior U.S. Justice Department official said. According to court filings in U.S. District Court in San Francisco this week, Wan Tang, who worked at the University of California, Davis, falsely claimed on her visa application that she had not served in the Chinese military. She was charged with visa fraud. She had actually served in the Chinese military. Yeah, on June 26th. The Justice Department official told reporters Tang was detained on Thursday night and did not have diplomatic immunity, as she was not declared a diplomatic official. let's also tell you, Banajan, that while this is going on, India and China agree on early and complete disengagement of troops in the eastern Ladakh region. And they have said that they want a full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas, and that was essential for the overall development of bilateral relations. So, while it's deteriorating here between US and China, in India they're trying to still negotiate and make peace. So,
That's one thing about the administration of India right now. They're actually focusing on dialogue,
yeah.
and they clearly state a dialogue is what's required, and war is not the answer. It's wonderful. I think I really appreciate that take on things.
Right. And in fact, they're saying that right now news is coming out from sources in China, Banajan, that Beijing is bracing for more turbulence in the run-up to the November election, and the possibility that a Joe Biden presidency presents an opportunity to avoid a deeper conflict. China is believing that Joe Biden is better for China. Washington's demand this week that China shut its Houston consulate in 72 hours has completely infuriated Beijing. And, things are in a complete free fall, they're saying, in terms of relations between the two countries. In the Black Lives Matter protests that are happening, Madhujan, federal agents again fired tear gas canisters at Black Lives Matter demonstrators in downtown Portland early on Friday in a 56th straight day of protest amid growing scrutiny over the use of Border Patrol officers within the city. Positioned behind a steel fence, agents began firing tear gas after a small group of protesters, many helmeted and wearing face masks, lit a fire at the entrance of the building shortly after midnight. So you could catch up on that story too on MediaMahima.com. Shares of U.S. drug makers fell today ahead of executive orders by President Donald Trump aimed at lowering drug prices. With a re-election race underway and a coronavirus pandemic raging in the country, the White House is looking to bring down drug prices by reportedly considering tying them to what consumers outside the United States would pay. So they're trying to boost his election chances. And in terms of Wall Street, the tech stocks are dragging Wall Street lower as the virus cases are beginning to mount. Intel hit its 4-month low. Goldman Sachs was up after a $3.9 billion settlement for the 1MDB dispute. And Dow Jones was down almost 0.5%. S&P was down about 0.5%. And the Nasdaq also about 1.32%. You can catch up on all these stories and more on MediaMahima.com, Madhujan. That's all we have for you on this morning's Good Morning Bay. We'll be back tonight live at 5 with Yesham Mastani. Tab tak ke liye, have yourselves a fantastic Friday.
घर बा